Hi everybody and welcome back. It is the 25th of the current month, and on Howrse that means that it is early coat release day for VIPs with the perk to access coats in the creation space before other players. I thought what I'd do today is show you how you can go about finding out what the coats are going to be. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about the 100 use and 200 use coats because those coats are the reason why I have that early release perk as a VIP. I want to make sure that I can get those 100 use, 200 use coats that I want, because during the regular release, those coats on the larger servers will go in seconds. And I'm a retired coat collector, so I want to get those 200 and 100 use coats because those coats are going to retire once they hit the max amount of copies. So what I'm going to do today is show you how you can figure out what coats are available, how I go about picking which horses I want to put those coats on, how I organize the horses prior to the early release, and then going through the process of applying those coats during the release. I have done a video previously where I did show at least how I go about applying the coats during the release, but that was back before we had the update to the Golden Apple page, which I'm still not a fan of. I still find it kind of difficult and stressful to use during the early coat release. So that's all that we're going to do today. So starting off, if you want to find out when coat release is, you need to go to Community Creation Space. This is the Creation Space page. And step number 3 tells you the date and time, your local time, so long as you have your local time set correctly, that the regular release happens. This right here is the time date where everybody has access to the coats, and this happens at the same date and time every single month. Well, except for if you are a country region that does observe daylight saving times, then this time is going to be different during the winter months. So for me, regular coat release is the 26th of every single month at 6 a.m. Early coat release for VIPs with that early coat release perk has their release 12 hours before this. So for me, 12 hours before this date and time would be the 25th of each month at 6 p.m. That's how you find out when the coat release is. So I need to log in before 6 p.m. tonight in order to make sure that I have all my tabs with all of my horses set up, and then I can go about applying the coats. Now, how do I figure out what coats are going to be available so I don't have to scramble and actually look at the coats and then figure out which horses I have that suit that particular species? Well, an easy way to do this is that you could just go to the Retired Coat Gallery on the International Forum at about 1 p.m. Eastern, and usually somebody between 1 p.m. and coat release time will post the coats that are available, because there are a few other servers that have their early release even earlier than we do on International. What I sometimes do if I don't feel like waiting for somebody to post those coats, I just go on to one of those servers myself, and then I can just look through on my own. So the French server does have their early release even earlier than ours. Theirs occurs at 1 p.m. on the 25th. So what I do to find the coats is that I go to Community, we're going to go to Directories, the creation directory specifically. Now I'm going to click on date so that it sorts by the most recent coats. Most recent coats are listed first, and you can see that the early coat release has happened on this server because it has the little VIP symbol. This VIP symbol will go away once the regular coat release happens. Now I am interested in the 100 use and 200 use coats, specifically the 100 use coats. I mean, unless a coat is super popular, you really don't have to worry about getting a 200 use coat during the early release. So if you want to sort by number of uses, just click on more criteria, number of uses right here, 100. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to look at all of the coats that have the VIP symbol, and you can also look at the date just to be sure. So this is actually from last month. This was August 25th, so I don't have to worry about this coat here. Now we're just looking at these. Thankfully, I am so happy this is a small release. There are only 4, looks like just 4 100 use coats. I'm really happy about that because it's just a lot less stressful. If the fewer coats there are, the less stress it is. So we've got a winged unicorn, a winged riding unicorn, we have a draft Pegasus, we have a unicorn pony, and a winged unicorn pony. I do like all of the coats this month. Yeah, I think I'm going to get all of them this month. So that's not too bad. There's 4 coats available. So I'm going to go over to, we're back on international. You can see which server I'm on up here. So I do usually put up a separate coat farm for my coat release horses that I can put them in. It's just easier for me to do it that way. So I need a winged riding unicorn here. Yes, I need a winged riding unicorn, which I have in my Nabstrupper unicorn farm. Winged riding unicorn. Okay, I don't really care which of these I put it on. So this one does not have wings on it. I'm going to have to apply a Medusa's blood, so I'm going to do that now. And then I'm going to actually write, some players, you could write the coat name if you wanted to. So Temnota, you could write the coat name on there. Sometimes I just write the species of it. I'm just going to do that, although all of these species are different this time, so it's not really like a huge deal to sort them out properly, but for me it just makes it a little bit easier. Winged riding uni. And I'm going to move it into that new coat release farm. And then the next one we have is a draft Pegasus. Draft Pegasi are pretty popular along with the draft unicorns because there aren't too many of those. So that one I'm definitely going to hope I can get. That's a draft, just a draft Pegasus. I can put it on this one. So I do have to give this one wings. Let's do that real quick. That one has wings and is moved into my coat release farm. Then we have a unicorn pony. I'm going to jump over to my unicorn ponies, which I have quite a few of those. And it's just a regular unicorn pony. Yep, no wings for this one. That one is moved into my coat release farm. And then the very last one is a winged unicorn pony. So there was a winged unicorn pony and just a unicorn pony. I'm going to go back later and rename those because I didn't actually rename that one yet. So we do need to give wings to this next one. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so I have all 4 of my horses picked out. Now the next thing I'm going to do is put any harmony packs on them if I do have harmony packs in stock, which I do believe I do. I like the harmony packs because I don't have to worry about the payment option getting switched to passes off of the golden apple. That's never happened before, but I'm paranoid it's going to happen. So that one is all set up. Then the next one that I want to put a harmony pack on, we can skip the aging point, I suppose. I guess it doesn't really matter. I don't think any of these would necessarily be more popular than the other. How about this Pegasus, the winged riding unicorn, because I really like that one and I definitely don't want to miss that. So we'll put the harmony pack on this one, my second one, because I only have 2 of these, unless I can get one in the exchanges before release. And there we go. That's all I have to set up. The other 2 horses I am going to put golden apples on, and then we'll be able to continue on with the release once it happens in several hours. So I will see you then. Okay, we've got about 6 minutes left until early release. So what I'm going to do is pull all of my horses up into different tabs to have them set up and ready to go once the release goes live. So I do kind of feel like this draft Pegasus coat might go the quickest. I think that one will be a highly sought after coat just in terms of trophies. We don't often get a lot of limited edition draft coats. So how I set my search up, always set it to limited edition for searching if you're searching for the 100 use coats. The nice thing about the draft Pegasus, hopefully I get the species right, is that there currently are no other limited edition draft Pegasus available. It will just make it much easier when the release goes live. That's literally the only coat that will show up is the one that I want, which is quite nice. And then I'm actually going to set it to popularity because when the release goes live, in order to refresh this and have the new coats pop up, I'll click chronology to have the newest coats listed first. I don't think that constantly clicking one of these will refresh the page. I don't think so, or maybe I just haven't wanted to try it with the new page format because this already requires an extra click or 2 than it used to, because now with the new format you actually have to click the coat image that you want and then click your payment option, which I just find highly annoying. So I'm just going to kind of leave it in this area here so I don't have to have it up here and then click the coat and then have that darn banner pop up here. I can just click the coat and then click get. Okay, so now to set up my other ones, I'm going to pull up the Winged Riding Unicorn next because I think that was the other one that I quite wanted. Yep, that one had the Harmony Pack. So I'm just going to do the same thing with all of these other horses. Also, though, for these other species that have more coats available, if you see, I've got this one here. I already have this coat, so I'm going to select the not worn by any of my horses. That's just less coats that are kind of in my field of view, and it's just not going to distract me as much. So now for these other two coats, these ones are getting golden apples on them, just regular golden apples. So choose the golden apple icon. And then again, popularity, limited edition, not worn by any of my horses. Thankfully, not very many coats here. Now I'm going to click golden apple, not my passes. So that way, when the page refreshes, the coat options refresh, I can just click get. I don't have to worry about my payment option. Same thing for this one. I'm going to put a golden apple on it. So popularity, limited edition, not worn by any of my horses, and golden apple. And then, like I said, for all of these, once the release goes live, it'll be 1800 hours, aka 6 p.m. my time. I'm just going to click chronology for each of these. Click my coat and then click get. And for my last coat, this little fjord looking unicorn. And boom, there we go. I have all of the coats that I wanted for release. Looks like I did get them all, thankfully. So I do want to go and get that 200 use Pegasus coat, but if I haven't said it before, I really do not like the new golden apple page. I think my least favorite feature about it, if you want to call it a feature, is that you have to click the coat that you want and then click get. Under the old paged format, all you had to do was click the green choose button under the coat after you had already selected your payment option. It wasn't an extra click, but now we have this extra click, and then you either have to kind of already be scrolled down to the bottom of the page, so this payment option will be here, or you have to wait for it to actually pop up, this banner to pop up once you click your coat. And if your page lags a little bit, that's a bit of an issue when it comes to the 100 use code. So I'm going to get this one. See, this one went very quickly. I wonder if all the half copies, I wonder if the 100 copies will be gone before regular release happens. Also, something else I dislike is that the limited use codes that you've applied will no longer show up on the Golden Apple page until regular release happens. It's not a big deal, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, because I can't apply another copy of this code as a VIP during the early release anyways, but I just feel more secure when I can actually see the coat on the Golden Apple page. However, if you do want to make sure that the coat is available, let's say you actually logged in at 6:01 p.m., this 200 use coat that you saw in the retired coat gallery that people said, hey, this was on another server for their early release, you didn't see it on the Golden Apple page. Well, does that mean that the coat wasn't available on this server? Because that has happened before. Sometimes coats are available on just the French server, not the other servers. What you can do is just go to the creation directories, and like we did earlier, just sort by, we will sort by, how about 200 uses, because you want to look up that 200 use coat that we just talked about. 200 uses, sort by date, and there you go. The coat does show up in the directories. And you don't have to have this particular VIP perk in order to see the new coats in the directories before early release, because remember, that's how I was able to look up the early release coats earlier on the French server, even though I'm not even a VIP on that server. So you can still see the coats in the directories, but for some reason it just won't show up on the Golden Apple page. I don't know why. I do hope they fix it. It's just a little thing, but it's something I wish they would put back. I hope this provided tips and tricks to get you through early coat release, although you can definitely make use of these same tips for the regular release as well. To sum it all up, just go to either the retired coat gallery or another server with an earlier release to see which new coats are limited. Pick out which coats you want and then decide which horses are getting which coats. Apply any harmony packs if you have them. When it gets closer to release time, pull up your horses into different tabs and have all of the search filters activated for for the limited use coats, as well as picking your preferred payment option. Then just start refreshing until the new coats are displayed. A couple of details I do want to mention about the VIP early release perk is that VIPs are limited to only half of the copies of each limited coat. For the 100 use coats, then, that means that only 50 coats can be applied during early release. Early release also restricts players to only one copy per coat, so you don't have to worry that those with the early release perk are going to get all of the limited coats. The rest of the copies will be available during the regular release. If you're still having issue getting the coats that you want, it really just comes down to fast click fingers and fast internet. You may have noticed that by the time I clicked to apply that last unicorn pony coat titled Another Shiny Pony, 18 copies had already been applied just because of my click speed. I'm just not terribly fast. The extra click the new page format requires does slow me down quite a bit. Just try to have everything organized and hope for the best. So thank you all so much for joining me during this month's coat release, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye!